As the prophet of esports, I rely on trustworthy and meaningful data every day. Data from our research partner YouGov offers the most complete view of esports fans and gamers in the world, providing context to who they are, what they think, the brands they buy, and things they do. YouGov's connected insights and research services inform strategy at every level. If you're a team, a brand, agency, or rights holder, you should be talking with YouGov. Their partners measure and maximize ROI and are telling compelling stories with data. Visit yougov.com/gaming-esports to learn more. Guys, let's talk about Activision Blizzard. And I don't want to get too much on anything politics or anything, sort of touchy here. But the headline here, Blizzard cancels 2022 BlizzCon amid harassment scandal fallout. The February show was nixed in favor of supporting our teams and progressing development. So that's the first piece of Activision Blizzard news.
Keep going.
I want to juxtapose this against the other, which is interesting, right? Because they're basically saying they're canceling BlizzCon because we're focused on development, right? And then this tweet from Jason Schreier saying Blizzard's co-lead Jen O'Neill just told staff she's stepping down. So now there's only one head of the company. And a lot of this is basically what everyone is saying. And I think, Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, on the actual earnings call, they said Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 are delayed indefinitely. I believe that's the wording they used.
Well, I think they had never actually given a date, but everyone thought they were coming next year. So now everyone actually thought they were coming in 2021. Then everyone thought they were coming in 2022. And now I think when I say everyone, like the investor community, I think everyone now thinks they're coming in 2023.
Okay, so BlizzCon canceled.
Well, that's why I was laughing. I think
Blizzard games not coming out.
Ridiculous.
Blizzard co-leader leaving. Still more harassment issues lurking. Is anyone still Camp Bobby? Please. Why?
Well, now I gotta be. I've been on this train for a while.
Defend it.
Well, no. There's nothing to defend on the obviously the issues they're having from a people perspective. But I laugh because clearly, and it's funny when they canceled BlizzCon on the 26th of October, a week before earnings. We probably should have known that they were going to delay the games because they weren't doing BlizzCon because they had nothing to show. But I guess the investor community didn't realize that. And then the stock was down, 20% the subsequent week, basically, after they delayed these games. So I guess investors don't know everything. But I mean, just in general, the stock is really cheap right now, right? Like it's currently trading
at a level. Is that the bull story? That's the bull story.
That is
what you're telling me.
I mean, basically the bull story now is like you're essentially buying it at the same price as you did prior to Warzone coming out and prior to the pandemic. Like it's probably unarguable that Activision is in a better place right now than they were prior to the pandemic in terms of player base, just gaming community being bigger, Call of Duty's in a much better place. And like you pushed out these two games, but you still have them coming. Now the bear case would be, well, who knows if these games are going to be good because Blizzard is just an absolute shit show right now, and it seems like they can't really get anything together. So that's kind of the bear case. The bear case. I mean, the other bull case, Bobby's a great capital allocator. They have $10 billion of cash on the balance sheet, and like, I don't know, he could buy back stock at 16 times earnings. He can, go do M&A. Like, there's plenty of assets out there that he could buy. So,
yeah,
I still have faith. I still have faith in Bobby, but they definitely need to get their act together.
Bobby needs to go, or Activision Blizzard, I think.
If Bobby goes, the stock goes down 40% next day.
But I've been saying this for years now, and I've been so right, literally at every turn. It's not even fun. I mean, it's disgusting how right I've been. But this company has been rotting from the top for so long. Like at some point, I told you the shit was gonna hit the fan here. At some point, you can only not make games for so long. You can only be a gaming company with no games for so long. And so we can love Bobby till Kingdom Come. At some point, all of this comes to a head, and at some point the business has to sort of stand on its own, regardless. Like, and you can do all the financial engineering and stock buybacks and all the clever things you want. Fundamentally, if Activision Blizzard doesn't make great games, in the long run, this company will fail. And I don't know why you would keep a CEO who has led this company through some good times. I could argue it was good times for everybody, and I don't know if he did anything really truly special. He bought a company that was great long before he bought it, and has managed it to a point where they have no games, they have a mass exodus of talent, they have a horrible reputation in the business. I don't know where this goes, and I don't know how you right the ship without getting rid of the captain. To me, I don't see a solution here for Activision Blizzard. Let me just read Chris's comment because I think it's really smart too. Call of Duty Vanguard likely won't sell well either with Halo on the horizon. Going to be a long year for Activision Blizzard. Stock will get even cheaper. I tend to agree. I mean, Jeff, you and I had a bit of an argument in Discord, and I'm curious to have it publicly here. Is it, do you want to buy Activision Blizzard at the current? Activision Blizzard and Roblox have about the current same market cap currently. Which one would you rather own?
Activision.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
You didn't sound too
confident
there.
I think Activision, I think Chris is right. You know, there's going to be more pain, or it's going to be a little bit of like treading water for a while because there's not a ton of catalysts. Without these games are supposed to be your catalysts. So you might, be sitting here in these levels for a while. But over the next probably 2 years, I think Activision stock will outperform Roblox's stock.
And if you had to hold 5 years, does your answer change? Maybe
it does. Maybe it does. I mean, Roblox has a lot of question marks too, right? Like they have slowing user growth. They have, they're struggling to age up a demographic. Their payer metrics aren't great. Like it's not like Roblox is like knocking it sort of out of the park right now. And Roblox, to be totally honest, I actually own both. Unfortunately, neither has been a great investment. But my thought on Roblox is just as a stock, it's, if you look at the multiple you're paying for it, it's pricing in, I think, a lot more upside. Whereas Activision, you're sort of buying it like at the lows to some extent.
Well, here's the thing too. I mean, I feel like Activision, any day they want, can find that next indie, development firm, and like a Splitgate and acquire them the way they did with Blizzard and change their narrative.
Run it into the ground. I mean, it's a great business model.
Use it as a crutch was how I was going to phrase it, but
But I think the answer, they do need to make some sort of change in terms of future-proofing the business, right? Like I think you're not wrong in terms of the innovations that they have to do, or just creating new games. Having said that, I think that you have to give them historically credit for making a lot of incredibly smart capital decisions and big industry moves. Like you forget, I mean, they bought King for what, 5 times EBITDA? Like literally it is printing almost $1 billion in cash every year. Like they bought it for $4 billion. So Jeff, that was a genius move being ahead of free to play. No, but I'm saying a track record. I'm talking about a track record, right? They did that.
But the track record is in acquisitions, right? It's in M&A. It's in capital allocation.
Bobby has $10 billion. He can go do that again.
M&A doesn't solve the problem they're in, I don't think. Really doesn't, right? The ship's falling apart, right? Packing on more things isn't going to fix the ship. Like there's underlying problems with the business. There's underlying problems with attracting and keeping talent. What are the underlying
problems?
Who wants to go work for Activision Blizzard today? Let's start with that.
I mean, they said they're going to spend $250 million to hire a bunch of talented people, and they're trying to hire 50% more females. So if I were a talented female in the gaming industry, I might consider that, assuming they have fixed some of the culture problems, which I think they genuinely are trying to. That's a pretty good amount of money that might interest folks in the industry to go work there. I mean, money speaks.
I think people more than anything
have very popular franchises that people, grew up playing that want to work on.
I think people want to work on games that will see the light of day. And I don't think there's any guarantee of that at Activision Blizzard at all. Right? Like no one wants to go work on the next Call of Duty, like changing 2 things on the map. Like I don't think that's what excites the best talent in the industry.
It's going to come out.
It's so hard. It's just so hard with Activision because I'm kind of with Jeff where it's like I just feel like at any moment they could turn it around. There's just so many assets there and so many things they could do like pretty easily and fairly painlessly that we would be having a much different conversation. So for me, it's kind of hard to let go of the ship.
But no, Lindsay,
I see your point. It's falling apart, but
your insight's spot on. But that's the point I'm trying to make, which is it's such an easy fix. Change the people at the top who don't understand or who are not equipped to guide the ship through the current issues. They're not equipped. Bobby's not the innovation guy. Bobby's not the gaming guy. Bobby, to your point, is the Wall Street guy, capital allocator guy. That's not what fixes this.
That's who I want running my company. As if I own a stock, is the guy who's taking it from effectively, I think it was 80 cents when he took over to $65. Like they beat the S&P over 20 years. Like that's like Warren Buffett type capital allocation.
He's not going to M&A his way out of this.
Free to play. He was right on mobile. I don't know. They were early on subscriptions.
I will tell you now, because I've been spectacularly right up until this point. The Activision Blizzard story gets uglier and uglier over the next 12 months. Fair.
So what's the end game then? Like what happens to
shareholders get fed up? Bobby's pushed out nicely, right? He's retiring. He's got his billions. He's going to sail the world on his boat. I don't know, right? Like there's a nice sort of gentle push that gets Bobby out of the way, and they bring in a CEO like Satya Nadella style, someone a bit younger, someone a bit more innovation driven, that can steer this ship and actually get games out the door. Fundamentally, I think they have to go back to being a gaming company, and they have to drop all the other distractions, drop literally everything else they're doing, and continue to put great games out. Otherwise, I don't think the business survives fundamentally.
So you think they put that person in place and then it works, doesn't work? Like what happens?
I think it takes
oblivion, they get sold to someone. Like what?
No, I think it's sort of, it limps along for the next 3 years, like as this transformation happens. And I think 3 years from now, you would hope to see a different business altogether, right? A renewed, reinvigorated Blizzard that essentially goes back to its roots. No, they don't have to do any of that. That's the beauty of Activision Blizzard, right? There's so much great IP, so much great history in the games that they've made, that like a great Diablo 4 changes everything, right? A Diablo 4 that sets the industry on fire, that everyone wants to play and everyone wants to watch, is transformational, but it's got to be a great game.
But so I agree. And that was sort of what everyone was playing for. Everyone thought that was coming next year, but like, why is that? Like, that has nothing to do with Bobby, right? Like if he was bad and not good at his job, he would be telling Blizzard, no, put it out now. Like, I don't care what you have, just get it out. I want my $1 billion today. Like what would you say that he, or someone else, screw Bobby, whoever, like, let's say, Paul, you're the CEO tomorrow of Activision. Like, what do you do to make that game better? Like, hire a bunch of people, right? He just said he's going to spend $250 million extra dollars, like hiring a bunch of talented people. Like what?
I don't know. I actually don't know enough of how Bobby manages day to day to be critical but I do know that the end result's not happening. And it's not like Diablo 4 is something they announced 2 days ago and they're saying it's going to be another 2 years. We're talking about a game that's supposedly been in development for years now. Right? We're talking cyberpunk level kind of mismanagement. Again, at one point, the buck stops with Bobby. You could say, what is he supposed to do other than hire people? Well,
sure, but you're going to put in another person who has less of a track record, who might be less good. Like what is the next person? I think what they've done is they've fired the Blizzard heads, right? Like I would argue that's.
But does Bobby really have a track record of putting out great games? Does he?
Well, I mean, he's he's been the CEO since '91. So any game that you played, presumably he was, I guess, not the Warcraft ones, because that was before
he's also
they
just
bought.
not. He like, I don't know.
He's not a game guy. He's not a game developer.
I've always seen him as the Activision guy, not. So maybe he understands the publishing business. Maybe he understands, right, marketing of gaming. There's all kinds of things he's maybe very good at. At the end of the day, if the product's no good, and I think maybe a guy with a more product management background, if anything, is way better than a capital allocator in this situation.
That's fair. I think we've had some comment.
Yeah.
I think Chris is.
Antonio's laughing at, I think, the Activision Blizzard. Christopher says, gonna hire a bunch of expensive yes men versus visionaries. Not a good look. Chris, you're 1,000% spot on. 1,000% spot on. Chris says 30% of the money came from Call of Duty alone. Jeff, you could have been Bobby Kotick in that spot.
That's very kind of you, Chris. Although I don't think I take it as a compliment in this regard. But
Patrick says, agree. The ship isn't falling apart. It's halfway to the ocean floor. I agree with that. That's a correct characterization. Christopher says Diablo MMO would be kind of sweet. Anything, literally anything. They've had so much time. Anything that leverages beloved IP and a genre that people want to play would be a massive hit for Blizzard. Like it's so hard to fail as Blizzard. It really is. You have to be a special kind of it has to be really truly special kind of mismanagement to run a company like Blizzard into the ground. That I think is his biggest accomplishment.